What's good, everybody? Ed0626 bringing you another World of Tanks video. Today we are focusing on one specific class of tanks or country who produce tanks in one country only, and that's Russia. The title of this video, as you can tell, is called "Don't Fuck with Russians," and there's a reason for that, because in this video you're going to see me owning quite a few tanks with this BT7 I have here. Now the BT7 is a light tank. The armor on it in this game is not great, but it definitely gets the job done. It's also the same tank that I used during my last stand video that you've seen prior. It's actually, the thing I titled this "Don't Fuck with Russians" because in my opinion the Russians produced some of the finest tanks of any country that's represented in this game. I actually pulled up a little snippet here on Google a few minutes ago before I started making this video, and just the T-34 alone, a Russian tank used in World War II, which is probably one of the biggest mass-produced tanks during the war. T-34 itself, between June 1941 and May 1945, the T-34 alone was produced, in the numbers of 35,119. It's insane. And then the T-34-85, another version of the T-34, 29,430. So that's like 6,000 less. So, to be honest with you, Russian engineering in this game is, the attention to detail in the Russian tanks is actually very well done. If you ever noticed, if you play World of Tanks, all the turrets, look the same. It's insane because it seems like all these years they've been using the same kind of tank over and over again. Well, not the same kind of tank, but the same kind of look for their tank. The T-34 look has been produced maybe like 10 times over in this game, and this is just different tanks. It goes to show like the type of Russian engineering that was going on during this period, during World War II. In all honesty, let me take out this artillery right quick. I basically went balls deep into this zone right here. That tank, that one medium tank, I just couldn't take out. I guess the cannon wasn't good enough or what, but I just couldn't take it out, and I paid the ultimate price for it. As you'll see in a second here, we ended up winning this game, but I did quite a deal of damage to the other team during this period of time. So basically, back to what I was saying, I think the only country that could rival, Russian tank engineering during this time was Germany. But here's the problem, it's insane because, unlike Russia, they only stuck to maybe a few different kinds of tanks, like the T-34 and maybe a few heavy tanks like the KV series. The amount of tanks Germany, the amount of tanks that the Nazis produced is unprecedented. So many versions of each tank. There's like fucking 10 versions of the Panzer in this, and that's not even counting like the heavy tanks and shit. Like just the light tanks and medium tanks that the Germans produced is insane. I think they're the only, dare I say, the only country during that period that could actually rival Russia in tank producing, because although their problem was they had so many, like I said, they have so many different versions of tanks that it was just impossible to keep up with it. That's why tanks like the Tiger and the Panther were so limitedly, there wasn't a lot of them. The production in the Tiger and the Panther, had they been raised, and that was their main focus, or one of their main focuses, the Wehrmacht. I guarantee they'd probably be under Nazi rule right now, because no one fucked with the Tiger tank back in those days. If you're a history buff like me, you know that no one fucked with the Tiger tank. Fucking, it instilled fear into the hearts of anyone who came across it, especially guys who were in the you know, U.S. military who were in the Shermans, because the Shermans are great in their own right, but the fucking Tiger just destroyed Shermans like it was nothing. Now, before I continue, this game here is on Wide Park. Basically, this is probably one of the first really great games I had. This was probably, I think this was my first game I actually got 3+ more than at least 1 kill on. It was actually, I got 3 kills in this game, once again using the BT7. At least I think it was the BT7. It was definitely one of the versions of the Russian tanks, obviously, because that's basically, those tanks are basically my go-to. Actually, now that I think about it, it does look like the BT7. So, the thing I like about the BT7, though, is it's very maneuverable. What it lacks in armor, it makes up for in speed, and that's basically the story behind most light tanks. Apparently, they're not really supposed to be used for this type of field of combat anyway. Just rushing in, like no fucks given, that type of thing. I'm pretty sure maybe may have been some Russian soldiers that did it, but you know, look at the speed on this. Had I not, I probably would have been dead in some cases had I not, you know, escaped some of those shots. That just goes to the, once again, an homage to the Russian engineering, you know, that type of stuff. And what I like about this game so much is it broadens your idea of the history of armored warfare. You know, I didn't even know that this tank ever existed in the Russian army, and honestly, it's one of my favorite tanks to use, and I think this was a tier 2 or tier 3, I don't know, I think it's a tier 3. It's one of my favorite tanks to use for that reason. It's such a great tank, and though when it goes up against higher tiers and heavier armor, like for instance, going back, you know, once again, Russian engineering shit, a BT7 versus a KV, any version of the KV is fucked. It has no shot. I think I've been one-shotted by a KV before. That's how insane it is. Or at least not one-shotted, but taken down to very low health like I am right now. You know, so it's just insane. So, you know, it's just, you know, I play this game, and not only is this game fun for me, but it's just, you know, it makes me learn a lot. It makes me think about a lot of stuff that I usually wouldn't think about playing games. You know, the type of, you know, like I said, the type of engineering that goes into this. Like I said, Russians fucking were on the top of their class during World War II when it came to tank making, so it's just insane. I know I know I really sound like a nerd right now, and I'm sorry, but that's just how I am sometimes. I'm a huge history buff. Okay, so this whole instance here, I got fucked. I got myself in a bad position underwater, and because of that, I just paid the ultimate price for it. I wasn't happy about it, but it is what it is. So that was a big L for me on that one. But hell, it was still a great match for me nonetheless. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little talk and discussion about the history of Russian armory, and hopefully maybe I can do more videos like this down the road. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Peace out.